Have you ever wondered about the mysteries of the universe, the origin of life, and the nature of God? Today we are going to explore the Urantia Book, a fascinating text that seeks to explain the reality of the universe, the evolution of humanity, and the paths of the spirit. This is no ordinary book. It offers a profound and detailed vision of divinity, personality, energy, and the multiple dimensions of the cosmos. In today's video, we'll present a clear and simplified summary of Document 0, which serves as an introduction to the concepts explored throughout the book. But keep in mind, nothing can replace the full experience of reading the Urantia Book in its entirety. If you're interested in philosophy, spirituality, and understanding the universe, this video is just the first step. To truly immerse yourself in this knowledge, reading the complete book is essential, as it reveals connections, details, and teachings that a summary alone cannot fully convey. Get ready to explore concepts like God, the Trinity, the absolutes, and the evolution of personality in the universe. And remember, what you're about to see is just the doorway to a universe of wisdom. Like, share, and subscribe to join this journey to the heart of the cosmos. On Urantia, our world, human understanding of God, divinity, and deity is still clouded by confusion and uncertainty. Mortals struggle to discern the meaning of each term and how divine personalities relate to one another. Recognizing this conceptual limitation, a commission sent from Orvonton set out to provide a clarifying introduction, carefully defining the terms and verbal symbols that will be used in the subsequent documents. The goal is to expand cosmic awareness and elevate spiritual perception, even while confronting the limitations of human language in conveying complex universal ideas. The introduction serves as a guide for interpretation, not a definitive exposition. It prepares the reader to understand concepts about the deity and the universe of universes, reminding us that Urantia is only one planet among many in the local universe of Nebadon, which in turn is part of the super-universe Orvonton. This super-universe is one of 7, all orbiting the Central Universe of Havona, where the Isle of Paradise resides, the eternal and immutable center of divinity. Essentially, the universe as we know it is just a small fragment of a vast, organized, and evolving cosmic creation. The complexity of the universe and divinity invites humility and contemplation. Often, we seek ready-made answers to questions that transcend our limited experience. Yet the very pursuit of understanding, even through imperfect symbols and words, connects us to something greater, awakening curiosity, reverence, and a desire to expand our consciousness. Perhaps the true encounter with the divine lies not only in comprehension, but in learning to navigate the vast unknown with courage and openness to mystery, deity, and divinity. The universe of universes is a vast and complex stage where the activities of the deity unfold across multiple levels of reality, encompassing mind, spirit, and personal existence. The deity is the unifying essence of all that is divine, perceivable in personal, pre-personal, or super-personal forms, though its totality remains beyond full human understanding. It expresses itself in 7 primary levels, from the static, self-contained, to the ultimate, which transcends time and space, sustaining the master universe and manifesting the ultimacy of deity. Between these extremes, the deity is revealed as associative, creative, evolutionary, and supreme, linking creator to creature across different dimensions of cosmic experience. While deity is the source, divinity is the tangible and intelligible expression of that essence. It manifests in creatures and creation as truth, goodness, and beauty, and on impersonal levels as justice, power, and sovereignty. Divinity may be perfect, relative, or imperfect, depending on the level of existence or the creature's experience, reflecting the complexity of spiritual evolution and the interplay between the finite and the infinite. Even absolute perfection exhibits variations, combining relative, imperfect, and absolute aspects in different contexts. In essence, deity and divinity form an eternal dance between unity and expression, between the incomprehensible and the accessible, between the absolute and the relative. Reflection. Understanding. Deity and divinity challenges us to look beyond the obvious and the limits of human perception. We often seek a God that fits our finite minds, without realizing that the divine essence is vast, multifaceted, and continuously expanding. Divinity, as the intelligible expression of deity, invites us to experience the divine not merely as a concept, but as a presence, love, justice, beauty, and ministry in our daily lives. Perhaps the greatest lesson is to recognize that the divine is not just an object of study, but a living force that connects, unifies, and inspires growth, reflecting infinity in every thought, action, and decision. God-evolving mortals feel a deep need to symbolize God, even though finite minds cannot fully comprehend the totality of the divine. Human awareness of moral duty and spiritual ideals points to the existence of a first cause, a unique and uncaused reality known as God, the Universal Father. The term God is a symbol for all personalizations of the deity, manifesting as God the Father, God the Son, the spiritual coordinator and administrator, or God the Spirit, the universal integrator and giver of mind. At higher levels, God becomes the supreme, experiential and evolutionary, uniting creature and creator in time-space, or the absolute, completing the full potential of the deity. There is also God the septuple, who manifests the unity of deity throughout the grand universe, and God the ultimate, transcending time and space and processing the evolving absconite values. God appears in pre-personal forms, such as thought adjusters, personal in creatures' evolutionary experience, and superpersonal in absconite existences and beings beyond time and space. Each manifestation reveals a different dimension of divine reality and experience, showing how the divine connects the finite to the infinite, the temporal to the eternal. The experience of God is not limited to understanding concepts. It is a journey of consciousness expansion. The divine manifests across multiple levels, always linking creature and creator, inviting us to reflect divinity in our thoughts, actions, and choices. By connecting with God, we participate in a greater reality where time, space, and experience converge, awakening reverence, curiosity, and the desire to evolve spiritually. The first source and center. The first source and center is the primordial heart of infinite reality, the point of origin and sustenance for all that exists. Inqualifiably infinite and eternal, this source is personified in God, the Universal Father, whose presence permeates every aspect of the cosmos, personally coordinating all subordinate sources, centers, and personalities. All reality, finite or infinite, personal or impersonal, depends directly or indirectly on the primacy of this source. In the universe, gravitational, mental, and spiritual forces converge on different manifestations of deity. Gravity aligns with paradise, cosmic mind converges with the infinite spirit and the seven master spirits, and spiritual forces center on the eternal sun. The ultimate capacity of deity for action and response resides in the deity absolute and the unqualified absolute, coordinated and unified by the universal absolute. Even the moral personality of each evolving being is centered on the Universal Father, demonstrating the interdependence of creature and creator. The concept of I am serves as a bridge to the finite mind, symbolizing the eternal Father and the origin of all things. Even though time-space creatures can never fully comprehend eternal realities, through I am, the absolute free will of the Father, the primacy of divine purpose and the co-eternity of the eternal Son and infinite Spirit are expressed. The original tension between infinitude and differentiation drives the dynamics of deity, resolved by the universal absolute, revealing the harmony between infinite divine potential and finite universe experience. The first source and center reminds us that all existence is rooted in something greater than we can comprehend. Every force, mind, and evolving spirit converges toward this infinite origin, showing that the meaning of all things is not merely individual, but universal and interconnected. Perhaps the greatest lesson is accepting that the fullness of the divine cannot be grasped entirely by human reason, but can be experienced through faith, reverence, and recognition of our place in the vast, harmonious cosmos. The Supreme Being. The Supreme Being represents the bridge between the eternal and the experiential, between the absolute existence of paradise and the constantly actualizing reality of the Master Universe. While God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit are existential, eternal, complete, and fully actualized, the Supreme, the Ultimate, and the Absolute of Deity are in a process of experiential actualization, evolving in power and personality throughout time-space. They do not emerge as direct creations, but as dynamic syntheses of divinity, reflecting and expanding the eternal activity of the Paradise Trinity. God the Supreme mirrors the personal spirit of the Trinity, forming associative relationships with the supreme creators of the grand universe. Its role is not to create directly, but to coordinate and synthesize all relationships between creator and creature, harmonizing experiential power with spiritual personality. Under its influence, all finite reality moves in an ascending mobilization, striving for unification and perfection, with the ultimate aim of integration into the absolute levels of reality, where the finite meets the infinite in eternal fusion. Thus, the Supreme Being demonstrates that the evolution of deity is neither static nor predetermined. It is a continuous process of association, synthesis, and expansion, where the eternal of paradise intertwines with the experiential of time-space. It shows that divinity can grow, adapt, and fully realize itself through interaction with creation, unifying power with personality and establishing universal harmony. The Supreme Being teaches us that even the divine is in motion, evolving. Perfection is not merely given but earned through association, experience, and integration. Just as the Supreme harmonizes the finite with the infinite, every conscious being can, within their own sphere, strive to unify potential and action, awareness and experience. Life, then, becomes a journey of actualizing one's potential, an opportunity to transform lived experience into something eternally meaningful, connecting with the infinite without losing one's individuality. God the Septuple. God the Septuple is the compassionate and strategic expression of deity designed to accommodate the natural limitations of mortal creatures. Recognizing that human finitude makes apprehending the infinite difficult, the Universal Father instituted 7 functional personalizations of deity, distributed throughout the Master Universe and the super-universes, to facilitate access to and understanding of God. These 7 aspects are the Creator Sons of Paradise, the Ancients of Days, the 7 Master Spirits, the Supreme Being, God the Spirit, God the Son, and God the Father. This septuple structure allows mortals to evolve spiritually, ascend in perception, and gradually discover divinity at multiple levels. The ascent begins with recognition of the divinity of the Creator Son of the local universe, passes through the Ancients of Days and the 7 Master Spirits, and culminates in the experience of the Universal Father's presence. It is an experiential journey in which the finite connects with the infinite, guided by accessible deity structures adapted to human understanding. In the grand universe, the Trinity of Supremacy, God the Septuple, and the Supreme Being operate in perfect association. The Supreme Being serves as the mechanism of synthesis, integrating power, personality, and experience, enabling mortals to attain immortality and approach the absolute. The Creator. Sons and their consorts facilitate practical ascension, while the Ancients of Days and the 7 Master Spirits administer the grand universes steadily and consistently. God the Septuple is therefore dynamic, evolving alongside the universes, ensuring that every creature finds multiple paths to approach the divine. God the Septuple shows us that the infinite is revealed gradually to the finite. The divine is not an unreachable barrier, but a series of carefully placed bridges guiding the creature along the spiritual ascent. Just as the septuple facilitates the mortal's approach to the Universal Father, in daily life, we can perceive that every challenge, lesson, or experience is a bridge, a path to comprehend, experience, and integrate higher values. The septuple reminds us that spiritual growth is progressive, associative, and integrative, and that even amid the vastness of the cosmos, there are always ways to achieve closeness to the Absolute. God, the ultimate God, The ultimate represents the highest stage of experiential deity, beyond the finite universe, in the absolute and time-space transcended domains. Just as the Supreme synthesizes power and personality in the grand universe, God the Ultimate emerges to unify the experiential trinity at even higher levels, the super-creative, absolute, and transcendental levels. It is, therefore, the expression of personal deity in a state of supreme actualization, serving as a bridge for creatures who reach absolute status, allowing them to participate in a destiny of total service and fulfillment. While the Supreme is comprehensible to finite beings as the unification of the Trinity, the ultimate is the understanding of that same Trinity for absolute beings, a level beyond mortal perception, where deity's potentials are fully mobilized in power and personality. The three eternal deities of Paradise, Father, Son, and Spirit, are complemented by the experiential deities, Supreme, Ultimate, and potentially Absolute, forming a creative expansion network that links the finite to the absolute and eventually to the absolute. Unlike the eternal persons of Paradise, the Ultimate has its origin in the experiential universe, but its future existence is infinite, without beginning or end, regarding its ultimate function and power. God the Ultimate reminds us that spiritual evolution and understanding of the divine have no limits. There are always higher levels to reach, even beyond what we perceive as infinite. Just as absolute beings can experience the unification of the Trinity through the Ultimate, we in our daily lives are invited to transcend our temporal and spatial limitations, recognizing that every effort at moral, mental, or spiritual growth is a step toward greater realities. The Ultimate teaches that perfection and wholeness are not static, but an ongoing process of expansion, integration, and conscious service, connecting the finite with the infinite potential of the cosmos. God, the Absolute. God the Absolute represents the pinnacle of experiential deity, the ultimate expression of divinity that transcends any finite understanding. While mortals and even absolutes can comprehend and interact with God, the Supreme or the Ultimate, the Absolute lies beyond all direct perception. It is the final unification of the Absolute Trinity, the convergence of all ultimate meanings and values at levels that escape the time-space limited mind. It is the reality of complete divinity, where the potential for power and personality knows no boundaries and remains infinitely expansive. The actualization of the Absolute is the ultimate goal for all super-absolute beings, those who have surpassed the limits of the experiential universe, and the absolute encounter at this point, the synthesis of all that is eternally valid and experiential. Yet even for advanced observers, the full scope of God the Absolute remains a mystery, a horizon of infinity that can never be fully contained or explained. God the Absolute teaches us the limits of knowledge and humility before the infinite. Just as it transcends all finite comprehension, our spiritual journey invites us to recognize that growth and perfection are continuous and never-ending processes. The Absolute is a beacon pointing to the vastness of possibility, showing that no matter how far we advance, there are always new dimensions of existence, new layers of truth, and new ways to integrate power, purpose, and service. It inspires us to live not merely to understand, but to experience, evolve, and collaborate with creation, knowing that the fullness of divine reality will always surpass our perception. The three absolutes. The three absolutes. The deity absolute, the unqualified absolute, and the universal absolute are fundamental manifestations of infinite reality and deity, each playing a distinct yet interconnected role in sustaining the universe. The deity absolute is the qualified potential of divinity, the omnipotent activator that governs the universe with care for the well-being of all creatures and the fulfillment of infinite possibilities. It is personal, dynamic, and all its actions aim to expand experiential deity. The unqualified absolute, on the other hand, is non-personal, extra-divine, and non-deified. It represents unlimited control over the universe and pre-material forces, a super-control that is constructive and positive, though it does not directly relate to personality or divinity. It sustains the cosmos in infinitude, imposing conditions for the manifestation of life, mind, and spirit, maintaining the necessary balance between infinite potential and experiential reality. The universal absolute arises from the unification of these two aspects, the qualified and the unqualified, functioning as the perfect regulator of tensions between the finite and the infinite, between deity and creation. It is the synthesis that enables the universe's existence and the harmonious interaction between finite beings and God's infinite power. In essence, while each absolute functions distinctly at sub-infinite levels, in infinity they become one absolute, integrating power, potential, and fulfillment into a perfect unity, allowing the finite to exist in harmony with the infinite. The three absolutes invite us to contemplate the harmony of power, order, and freedom. Even in a vast cosmos governed by immeasurable forces, there is balance, coordination, and purpose. Just as the universal absolute equalizes the tensions between finite and infinite, we can seek within ourselves the ability to integrate seemingly divergent forces: reason and emotion, freedom and responsibility, potential and action. The mystery of the absolutes reminds us that despite its complexity, the universe is upheld by a superior unity, and that every being, no matter how limited, participates in this infinite dance of reality. The Trinities. The Trinities represent the relational and structuring essence of deity, revealing how the infinite interacts with the finite and how divine potential manifests across the universes. The Paradise Trinity, the Universal Father, the Eternal Son, and the Infinite Spirit, is existential, eternal, and infinite. It embodies the absolute unity of deity, where the personal and the impersonal converge, giving rise to all experiential manifestations of God: God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and God the Absolute. The post-Havona Trinities, in contrast, are experiential and evolutionary. The final Trinity, still in formation, will include the Supreme Being, the Supreme Creator personalities, and the absolute architects of the Master Universe. The Absolute Trinity is likewise in the process of actualization and will consist of God the Supreme, God the Ultimate, and the consummator of the universe's destiny, operating across personal, suprapersonal, and even non-personal boundaries. These trinities reflect the divine effort to bring deity into full manifestation within the universes of creation and evolution, transforming potentiality into experiential reality. These divine associations show that deity not only exists, but evolves, expands, and personalizes in response to time, space, and the experiences of creatures. While the Paradise Trinity remains eternal and unchanging, the experiential trinities demonstrate that the divine is in motion, continually working to unify power, personality, and purpose. The trinities remind us that the universe is sustained by a constant interplay between the eternal and the experiential, between infinite potential and its realization in time and space. Just as deity gradually manifests through the experiential trinities, so too can we learn in our own lives to transform potential into reality, guiding our actions with coherence between purpose, experience, and eternal values. The mystery of the Trinity suggests that even the infinite requires expression, and that every finite being has the opportunity to participate, in some way, in this creative manifestation of reality. Considerations. The Considerations section reveals the methodology and purpose behind presenting divine truths concerning the Universal Father, the Paradise-connected beings, and the surrounding universes. The document explains that the transmission of knowledge does not rely solely on direct revelation, but builds upon the highest human concepts already available, using them as a foundation for progressive spiritual understanding. When human concepts prove insufficient, the authors draw upon higher knowledge of reality and divinity, ensuring that the revelation remains faithful to universal truth. The text emphasizes the inherent difficulties in expressing divine language through the finite symbols of the mortal mind. Yet, there is a profound confidence in human potential. The mind retains a fragment of God, and the human spirit, in union with the soul, allows spiritual appropriation of truth. This interaction between the finite and the infinite enables humanity to evolve in understanding, gradually approaching the spiritual reality of the universe. Revelation, therefore, is a collaborative work between the human spirit and divine forces, guiding individuals to grasp higher spiritual values and develop a broader awareness of divinity. In essence, the document does more than convey information. It provides guidance for spiritual comprehension, offering a bridge between limited human knowledge and the infinity of universal reality. This section reminds us that knowledge, no matter how vast, always encounters limits within the human mind. But the pursuit of higher understanding is possible because we are, in some way, connected to the divine source. Truth is not imposed, it is gradually revealed, and each individual, through perception, reflection, and spiritual experience, participates actively in this expansion of understanding. It is an invitation to humility and spiritual vigilance. The more we learn, the more we recognize the depth of divine mystery. Final highlight: document authorship. Dictated by a divine counselor of Orvonton, head of the body of personalities of this super-universe, appointed to present on Urantia the truth regarding the deities of Paradise and the universe of universes. Thus, the document is not mere human speculation. It is presented as a revelation guided by celestial authority, carefully structured to harmonize human concepts with the highest spiritual reality. And so we come to the conclusion of our summary of Document 0 of the Urantia Book, which introduced the fundamental concepts of reality, deity, and the universal principles permeating all creation. Remember, this video is only an introductory summary. The full depth and richness of the Urantia Book provide a much more complete and transformative understanding. And don't worry, our journey continues. In the next video, we will explore Document 1 of the book, diving even deeper into the teachings about the Central Universe and the super-universes. This summary will be released soon, so make sure to subscribe, activate notifications, and follow each step of this cosmic journey. Until then, keep reflecting on the vastness of the cosmos and on the place each of us holds within this magnificent universe.